So the first thing you're going to see is inside of, please mute me. Inside of Google Classroom, there's going to be, please mute me. Oh my gosh. So inside of here, it looks like this. You're going to see two different base plates and drill plate. I'm going to do the base plate first and just show you guys through that. This is going to identify some of the differences. So this one's pretty simple because there's only two of those things that we practice. We talked about counter bore, we talked about countersink stuff. Okay? So you're going to read these dimensions and you're going to put it inside of basically Fusion. You're going to create the section view as well. So in the directions it says, recreate the drawings below using proper dimensions inside Fusion, create a drawing file, create a full section of the base plate, create a full section of the drill plate, and then download the PDF. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to make sure that I have this base plate up. And I drew it already. So you're going to draw it just like normal, and then you're going to bring it into a drawing file. We don't really have to worry so much this time about the ASME and all that kind of stuff. I would just leave it in ASME. I would keep it in inches. And these ones, these ones work on C size, so we shouldn't have to worry about that. Press OK. It'll take a second to do its thing. And then inside of this, you are basically going to downloads. Trying to add the picture so you guys can see it. Base plate. There it is. It's right there. Oh, it's because it's a PDF. That's okay. So basically, what you're going to see is the first base. So we just got to bring in this first place. You don't have to bring the isometric. You don't have to do a multi-view. You don't have to do anything crazy like that. So what I would recommend, and I did it to this one, is I made it like 2:1, just to blow it up a little bit so you guys can see what you're doing. And then you're good to go on the first part. So basically, let's create the section view first. I would just delete this outside border, so I just click it and press delete, just so I have a little more room. I'm going to move this up just so that I can see it a little bit better. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a full section view. So section views are the third thing on the list right here. So we did base, we did a projection view, and then we have a section view. If you click section view, the first thing it asks you to do is what view do you want to focus on. And then it brings open this little A right here, and all it's asking you to do is find the point that you want to draw the line across, basically. So I'm going to do the midpoint, which is the center of that line, come across and hit this other midpoint. And then you're going to have this like weird arm kind of like bending here, okay? After you've clicked and you know that that line is there, you just press continue. It automatically generates the section view for you. Bring it down or bring it up. It would make it different, obviously. It would change the view. Bring it down in this case, and then it'll take a second. You right click, press OK, and it generates the section view for you. Okay, it's really simple. Basically what you can do from here is I've created a section view. That's how easy it is. You can move this stuff. You can click here once, and you can drag this out if you want it to look prettier a little bit. You can drag this out again to make it look a little more pretty. But from here on out, it's basically dimensioning from here. Okay, this is the drawing file that you're going to submit. From here, you'll see these leader lines. So you'll see an A with a little leader line. You click that line, and you're going to click the outside circle, and it allows you to just generally type in everything that you're going to type in. Okay, what are you going to type in? Well, if we look back at Google Classroom and the base plate, I've already given you those answers. All you got to do is punch in what I showed you. Okay, that's pretty easy. And I even dimensioned the whole entire thing for you. So you just dimension it again, and you guys are good to go. The hard part, or the different part, okay, that's the easy part. What about drawing this stuff in the first place, though? So let's say, and I'm just going to show you, I drew these holes. The first thing you got to do is have locations for the holes. So the first thing that I did, and I'll show you the sketch, is I drew where I wanted all the parts to be. So I want the hole to be 0.5 over, 0.5 up. I wanted it to be, 1.25 across, 2.25, blah, blah, blah. Put where all the lines and put those little points basically where they're going to be. Okay, it's just the corners of where you make them. After I did that, I went in to the hole command, which is up here. Okay, hole. Press hole. Don't do a circle and another circle and extrude it. It's not going to work the same. If you go to hole, and I'll show you what these look like. Basically, the first thing I did was selected all 4 at the same time. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this screen pops up. This is where everything is that you're going to input as far as dimensions. This is where you're going to figure out if you can understand this stuff or not. If it's through all, then all you got to do is put all. It just means it extends through the whole entire part. If it's a counter bore, if it's a countersink, depending on what it is. Hole type, you'll never move it from simple, so don't worry about that in this activity. And drill point, I would leave it to angle just because it looks cooler, and there's nothing that you're going to change in there. Okay? So we leave it to drill point to that. In this case, all these actually drawings, if you look at the document here, they're all through all. So this one's through, this one's through. So we don't have to worry about anything at the bottom anyways. So for example, the big one right here that I'm on right now, or I'm sorry, the small ones, if you look at the small dimensions, they say 0.25 through, counter bore of 0.5, and a depth of 0.2. So if I look at this, and I'll go and make this a little easier for you to see. If I look at this, you're going to see 0.25 through. So I point 0.25, and it's through the whole entire part. Okay? We talked about that first smaller number being this basic radius, or I should say in this case diameter. The next number, 0.5, it's a counter bore, so I made it a counter bore, which is right here. And then I made a 0.5, which is this overall diameter, okay, with a depth of 0.2. So it drops down 0.2 right here. That's the depth of the counter bore. I literally press OK, and if you zoom in, you'll be able to see that that counter bore is set. Okay? Same thing for the other one. The bigger one is a counter sink in this case, though. Still through all, still as simple. In this case, it goes through all, it doesn't matter. And this one shows you 82 degrees. The only difference here is that this one has 82 degrees, and that's where you put the angle in right there. Okay? Again, obviously select the center of where that goes. I don't think that there's any other differences. Let me make sure. If we look at the Google Classroom here. Oh, that's the activity. Here it is. So if I look at this next one, I don't think that there's anything crazy different. So depth, diameter, nope, it's all the same. So basically in this one, you'll see now, if you look close enough, you'll see how this is like a cone at the bottom of this part right here, and that'll show you the same thing. You're going to do a full section of A across after you make the whole part, and just realize that all 4 of these holes are completely different in this one. Just makes it a little harder, makes you guys practice a little more. Okay? So the end result for all of these is basically to create the drawing file that looks exactly like this. You got to draw the part, you put the holes in, and then you do the section view and dimension it like you see here. Any questions at all? Good to go? Okay. That is it, guys. That's all I need you to do. Have fun.